You're live, man.
Okay, this is our CIT 270 presentation for open source firewalls. We have Zach, Emmanuel, Pedro, and I am Braden. So to start off, we're going to discuss what a firewall is, and then we'll go into presenting our firewall. So for basics, the firewall is basically what separates a network from the outside internet. It is a software or hardware firewall that filters any unwanted traffic going out to the internet or coming into the network. They are essentially the first step of defense to protect your network from viruses or other forms of malware. There are host-based firewalls, which is essentially on a computer, and that is what monitors the traffic in and out of the machine. There are also network firewalls, which sits at the edge of the network and monitors traffic from two or more networks out to the internet to protect those networks. There are commercial firewalls. These are generally expensive because they are customized, ready to use out of the box. They are very reliable, and if you have any problems, there's technical support available anytime, 24/7, 365. These are preferred over open source firewalls if you have a business, mainly because the support and they're usually up to date, very, very up to date. Now, open source firewalls are mostly for the public because they're free. These ones usually lack regular technical support. It's kind of spotty. You end up usually having to chat with somebody or trying to call somebody off hours, and sometimes they'll give you a call back. The interface for them is very simple and easy to understand. The patches and updates are fewer and more far between than the commercial ones, but there's also a lot of different open source firewalls to choose from. So for our presentation, we have chosen Zone Alarm to do our firewall presentation on. And here are the works cited.
All right, I'm Zach, and I'm going to walk us through the install of our Zone Alarm firewall. Feel free to laugh at Windows 8.1. It's too lazy to install Windows 10. Zone Alarm is one of the many free firewalls out on the web. I'm just going to walk us through the install here. We will go through and do a custom install. Here's the license agreement. Here we can choose two different options. We can choose the auto learn mode, which is probably the more simple way to install. Let's go through and we'll do the max security mode, mainly because it allows the flexibility to control each of our settings, while the auto learn sets specific settings for you. The install will take a little bit. Just to reiterate, free firewalls do have certain same components as commercial ones. However, they may or may not be as effective or as in-depth as a commercial firewall may be. This is installing the zone alarm security, which is the backbone for the entire zone alarm software. This is laying down the configs for the security and the firewall that this software is installing. This is just in case you want more information about zone alarm. Now that zone alarm is installed, we can go through and notice that it gives us a couple options to install. We can install an antivirus. We're not going to install that here. We have our identity and data protection, which most antivirus software will provide. This is just to give you an idea what Zone Alarm offers for that. We won't be setting up or activating those. The firewall is where we are going to be focusing. We have our basic firewall, which is exactly what it says, basic. It has the basic rules and standard traffic rules. We can view zones, which will give us our IP address, our site. It'll tell us our network. It'll tell us our public, what our zone is, which is public. We can add zones if we are mobile. We have advanced options here, which you can select depending on what you are trying to protect yourself against. Generally, public servers, stuff like these options that it is listing are more vulnerable to attacks, but it does give you the option to block those. We're going to focus on our application control. It lists all our programs here in this window. It tells you what kind of defense you want to set it at. It has our trust level, our outbound trusted sources, outbound internet, inbound trusted sources, and inbound internet. Everything with the question mark is options for us to tell it what we want it to do. If we want it super trusted, restricted, we can do those. We can have it ask the user if we want to allow these programs to run. We can also have it to kill it or just simply let it be, have no enforcement. As you can see, it's listing everything that is currently running on this machine, which will vary depending on which machine it is on. We can click on this Smart Defense and customize it to our wants, and we can go through each of these and to customize what we want it to do. In here, we set our rules that we want. If we want certain programs or executables to have access to the web or to receive access from outside of the firewall. The OS firewall settings are just basic settings configured for Zone Alarm. And the catalog utilization is just cataloging everything and all our settings that we have set. And down here, we can add or remove our own customized programs with their respective rules. The basic firewall, you can look into the main here and it'll tell us what events we want to show. Right now this is shown to alert you if it's a medium event. You can select high, which will show all alerts. You can even turn it off. Event logging is enabled, so it logs a log file on your computer if there's anything out of the ordinary. You can choose programs to log, and you can customize by telling it to log new programs or changed programs. Any changes that you make, the zone alarm will log for you. And you can check them all or clear those out later to your liking. Alert events, you can have all of these pre-programmed events in Zone Alarm send you alerts and logs if you desire. The log control tells, basically you are allowing the firewall to archive if you would like, and where the location you would like to have it archived at. The log viewer simply is when there is logs, you can search up here and it'll display a list of logs for you. Right now, this firewall is turned on. The settings are turned on to high, so it lets us connect to a network but prevents anyone on the network from connecting with you. You can turn that to medium and it tells you what it'll do. It lets you have more access to go out as well as letting people in. If you turn it off, you have no firewall protection. The advanced settings we already went over. Again, it's important to note that we can activate certain settings to block servers of your choice or block any type of protocol or website program that you do not want to have ran. Right now, this is our Zone Alarm firewall that we have presented, and that is all that we have.